mission very clearly, very focused on spreading this mission and helping all the fallen conditioned souls in their journey back home. So, which year is this? This Vyasa Puja? 72? Jai. His Holiness Radhanatha Maharaja ki Jai. We'd also meet him in New York at the Bhakti Center. He has a great following wherever he goes, and I think he's done many, many programs for yoga societies on the islands, and even we had just a few years back 5,000-6,000 professionals. We set up a big pandal at our Goshala, and every day ecstatic kirtan, wonderful katha, and people are inspired. And this inspiration is what attracted us to Srila Prabhupada. It's what attracting us to Maharaja ki. Hare Krishna.
Vrindavan. So I'm requesting the Devanand Pandit Prabhu, please honor him.
Initiated by, did you get initiated? The Echo Village and to get initiated.
During my initiation, Maharaj told, I will not give initiation if you not come in Vada, GEV. So it is my mercy of Panjigoda Prabhu. He says, okay, I will come with you. So he has proved, he has served servant of the servant in the mood. So Panjigoda Prabhu last 10 years serving in Vrindavan, and he very much obliged me, and he accepted Maharaj's order, okay, I will come to their GEV for his initiation. Thank you very much, Panjigoda Prabhu. Thank you, Raj. Now I am requesting Nartaki Mataji, please come and speak about the Maharaj something.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatadvishtayane Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Maharaj Ki Iti Namane Radhanath Maharaj Swami Iti Namane Vancha kalpaturubhyascha kipa sindhubhya vacha patita nampa vanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. I think many devotees know that I have been living in Radhanath Maharaj's congregation for 22 years, for 23 years. And the way I became attracted to Radhanath Maharaj was by some wonderful qualities. And at that time, actually, it was still outside of ISKCON, here in Vrindavan, in some small ashram near the, I forgot the name of that ashram. And he took out a group of devotees to Jaipur. And in Jaipur, I got to know him for the first time, actually. I may have seen him in maybe in India before, but this is the first time that I was actually speaking to him or getting to know him. And of course, his descriptions, spiritual description of the significance of Jaipur Dham and Karoli, etc., was very wonderful. But particularly I was attracted because I was living in Vrindavan at that time, in the early 90s. And And after the 80s, that in which ISKCON had gone through a lot of turmoil, because just like Prabhupada said, that after an acharya disappears, there's usually turmoil. And we experienced that, and the repercussion of that was that there was not much, how do you say, love and trust, trust particularly. And when there is no trust or not much trust, then also love is less, So he was one of the persons, at least in my life, I saw that he was the most wonderfully showing love and trust, even in those days, So I became very much attracted, and also while I was there in Jaipur, when I was talking to him, he was always surrounded by his disciples, and he was always very kind towards everyone, including the ladies. I am saying including the ladies because in those days that was not, not very often seen that the sannyasis would pay more attention also to the ladies, But he was always very kind and glorifying them and for their qualities. And actually, his understanding to glorify the devotees is very significant, because sometimes when we don't have much love and trust, or when we are very neophyte, then we become intimidated and don't even see our own qualities within. But he always sees the spiritual qualities in others, sees the qualities of the soul. Just like I'm always thinking of that example of a deer. A deer has musk in his own body, but he runs around and tries to smell it and where the source of this is, So devotees have inherently, as the spirit soul, wonderful qualities, and they just need to be brought out. And his faith in that is so much so that he hardly ever criticizes anyone or has to straightforward tell them, you're not doing this right also. He does it the other way around. He says, oh, this is a wonderful quality of yours, or like that, and by him giving so much faith, and at the same time in that person, the person becomes eager to want to become like that, even if they're not yet. I have that personal experience. I'm too embarrassed to say the situation, but he was in a class even saying something about me, pointing out something nice, and everyone afterwards came up to me and said, why did he say this? And I was saying, I think he meant my soul has these qualities, but I'm not yet manifesting them, so I'm going to try to manifest them now. So that is, I think it is a very gentle way of teaching someone, something, And so in terms of teaching the ladies, he always pointed several. मैं ये भी हिंदी में बता सकती हूँ, क्योंकि मैं सोच रही हूँ शायद हिंदी बोलने वाले लोगों को भी थोड़ा सा समझाना, जो राधानाथ महाराज हमसे आशा कर रहे हैं, he said in various lectures and also in personal talks, he brought out the qualities of ladies that. And don't think, the brahmacharis don't need to pay attention now. क्योंकि वास्तव में आध्यात्मिक दुनिया में हमारी आत्मा अगर वो पुरुष के शरीर में है या औरत लोगों के शरीर में, सब स्त्री भाव होते हैं, स्त्री भाव उनमें होते हैं, और कृष्णा का भाव Purush Bhav hai, you know. So we should understand these qualities. It is good for even the men to listen to this, because they can be, if we know what qualities in our soul are, then we can bring them out, try to bring these qualities out, and we can do some significant service even in this world for Krishna. So he was mentioning at different places how ladies are loving, pyar karne wale hain, or bahut komal hai, very soft, very caring, dekhbhal karne wala, and nurturing, palan poshan karne wale. Palan poshan, okay, we think of, okay, mothers, they feed their babies and like that, but palan poshan is very much one of the programs in ISKCON also. We are distributing prasadam and Prabhupada on such broad scale, you know, so it is definitely something that we can be eager about. And compassionate, dayalu. We should, practically all these qualities Maharaj himself has. As they say, it takes one to recognize one. ऐसा बताया गया है, किसी को पहचान करने वाला करना, हम अपने आप ये गुण हम में होना चाहिए, you know, तब हम पहचान कर सकते दूसरे लोगों का ये गुण. So he's saying healing, that women very much have that quality of healing, upachar karne wala. So I was in Bhaktivedanta hospital, and he always called me the mother of the hospital. But I think he was more the mother of the hospital than I was. He was, I in the beginning in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Bombay, I couldn't speak Hindi, so it was difficult to actually preach, to be with many. I mainly was helping Western devotees, you know, who were coming to the hospital, and then patient listeners, Dharyavan Shrota. Now we can all use that good quality as we are preaching, and that we are not just speaking, but that we are also listening. And Radhanatha Maharaj very much does that. He listens very carefully what you're saying, what your feelings are, and you know, like that. And then people become attracted also. Just recently someone was saying, I forgot, that just by listening he was able to preach to a person who was not in the beginning listening before he started listening to him, you know. So forgiving, kshamashil, and empathetic, sahanubhutiporn, supportive, sahayak. We should, you know, that falls much also in the quality of feeling ourselves, seeing ourselves as das anudas, as Bhagavan Prabhu was mentioning. Bhagavan Prabhu he was translating books in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, like there was a special brahmachari division, and they were day in, day out sitting there translating the books. So I got a lot of nice association from him at that time too. Then honesty, imandar, genuine. One should be genuine, not duplicitous. Krishna does not like the quality of duplicitousness. He wants us to be honest and straightforward, you know, genuine, I said that, vastavik, and practical, vyavaharik, You know, women have to be very practical because they have to make the household function, and you know, we can't be complicated. It has to be workable, and we have to make it workable for our children also, like that. But even as a manager in a temple, after all, our temples are homes that we are inviting people to, Krishna's home and Prabhupada's home. Just like they were saying, Prabhupada built a house in which the whole world could live. So we shouldn't think, you know, as householders, we should be only in our little house. No, we should be here in the big house and invite people to come here to Krishna's temple, you know. That is the actual meaning, you know, to a Krishna conscious understanding is that we all live in Krishna's house and we are his servants and inviting others to come in. I was just thinking, you know, how Prabhupada must have been so happy to see nowadays people coming who are not in our direct congregation here and sitting down with us with a bead bag and chanting with us. That is, in the beginning, that wasn't like that. Now I've seen it is happening that people come and sit with us chanting. So I was just thinking how Prabhupada must be so happy to see that. That means the devotees are preaching nicely. They are inviting people to come to Prabhupada's and Krishna's home and do the chanting. Just three more. So practical, hardworking, mehanati, yeah. We should all be very desiring to work very hard for Krishna, not leave any moments idle, always looking for services. And actually Prabhupada in that regards has said many times, when we see something that needs to be taken care of, that means Krishna made us see it, and we should take care of it. We should correct that thing that is not done properly. And devotees, to be a faithful devotee of Krishna, Krishna Bhakta. That is also, the ladies have that very easily, that they become devotees more easily, and men have to be convinced. There's many more qualities, but I'm saying to glorify Radhanath Maharaj, practically all these qualities he manifests and shows all the time. And of course, I'm Prabhupada disciple, you know, the reason why I'm attracted to Radhanath Maharaj after Prabhupada is because he represents Prabhupada so wonderfully. So that is my appreciation of him on this day of his 72nd Avirbhav Mahotsav. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Nartaki Mataji. I know Mataji last more than 30 years. Mataji is very young age, served the Prabhupada, and Mataji is very, very much loving to our Guru Maharaj. And I am requesting Monica Mataji, please give this love of token to Mataji just for a moment. अब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा देवकी पुत्र प्रभु जी से महाराज के बारे में कुछ बोलें.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी व्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण। तो आज हम परम पूज्य गुरु राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज इनकी 72वीं व्यास पूजा के कर रहे हैं। मुझे उस प्रसंग की याद आ रही है जो मैंने वरिष्ठ भक्त से एक बार सुना था कि रामानुजाचार्य ठाकुर जी की एक प्रोसेस यानी मिरुनुक निकाले और मिरुनुक के बाद ऐसा ही वो भगवान के गुणगान करने के लिए हर साल वो एकत्र होते थे मिरुनुक। तो उस साल ऐसा हुआ कि भगवान मतलब ठाकुर जी रामानुजाचार्य को बताया कि आप यहाँ से निकल जाओ, जल्दी निकल जाओ। तो उन्होंने रामानुजाचार्य को आश्चर्य हुआ कि ठाकुर जी मुझे क्यों यहाँ से बाहर जाने के लिए कह रहे हैं, मेरे से कुछ गलती हो गई। तो पूछने लगे तो नहीं पहले निकल जाओ, बाकी बोलना नहीं कुछ। अभी वो तो कुछ बोले नहीं, निकल गए। और बाद में ठाकुर जी बोले उनके भक्त को कि ये ऐसा करो कि मुझे मेरे भक्त जो है रामानुजाचार्य उनके बारे में सुनना है। वो यहाँ बैठता है तो वो सुनाने नहीं देता था और आपको भी बोलने नहीं देता था। अभी मुझे सुनाओ उनके बारे में गुणगान करो। मेरे बारे में सुन के तो मुझे कुछ आनंद नहीं आता है, तो भक्त के बारे में सुनने में मुझे आनंद आता है। तो वैसे भगवान और भक्त जो आदान प्रदान चलता है कि एक गुणगान वो करते हैं तो उसे आनंद मिलता है भक्त को, और भक्त का जब गुणगान होता है तो भगवान को बहुत आनंद होता है। वैसे आज जो व्यास पूजा इनकी हो रही है महाराज परम पूज्य गुरु राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज की, और उन्होंने जो भी किया है पूरे दुनिया में उसके बारे में आज हम बात करेंगे और हम सुन रहे हैं। इसीलिए आज यहाँ के श्री श्री गौर निताई भगवान, कृष्ण बलराम जी भगवान और राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान को भी बहुत आनंद आ रहा होगा। मैं राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज परम पूज्य गुरु राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज के संपर्क में जो आए तो हम मुंबई में 98 से मैं पहली बार मंदिर में आए थे, और उस समय से बाद में मायापुर यात्रा में हम एक बार गए और उसमें 2000 साल में हम पहली बार इधर वृंदावन में आए थे। तो ज्यादा संपर्क तो यात्रा में ही होता है महाराज जी के साथ, क्योंकि महाराज के बहुत सारे भक्त होते हैं और उनमें से ज्यादा मतलब आदान प्रदान सामने नहीं होता। जो भी होता है तो प्रवचन या उनके जो संदेश रहते हैं सुन के होता है। तो उस वक्त उस यात्रा में लोग कम थे, मतलब तो भी 2000 तो कम से कम हो गए, 2 या 3000। तो हम बहुत नजदीक से देख रहे। तो हम यहाँ से जा रहे थे, गोवर्धन परिक्रमा करते करते हम जब जतिपुरा में गए तो वहाँ प्रसाद होने के बाद देखा तो महाराज एकदम प्रसाद होने के बाद एकदम एक पेड़ के नीचे दूर गए, उस छाव में एक पत्थर लिया और वहाँ आराम करने लगे, सोने लगे। मैं सोचा इतने महाराज बड़े हैं और इतनी सिंप्लिसिटी। ये तो हम देहात में देखते कि कोई बैठता है आदमी और कहीं छाव दिखी तो बस पत्थर सर के नीचे लिए सो गए, और महाराज वहाँ सो गए। ये मुझे बहुत सिंप्लिसिटी महाराज की जो लगी, तो ये बहुत भाई मुझे। और बाद में ये जो गुण है महाराज के, तो महाराज ने कितना सहन किया। ये मैं उनकी जो किताब आई बाद में जर्नी टू होप, उसमें पढ़ने के बाद मुझे चला ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है महाराज के लिए। तो महाराज ने तो बहुत सारा ये पूरा खुद का एक्सपीरियंस भारत में आके ये एक्सपीरियंस की वजह से वो इतना कुछ कर सके, जो अभी पूरी दुनिया में इसको फ्लरिश हुआ है ISKCON। लेकिन जब हम 92, 91, 93 में जब हम ऐसे जगह में थे कि मुंबई में नहीं थे, मुंबई से तो हम दूसरे काम के लिए थे इसलिए उनके कांटेक्ट में आ गए। लेकिन महाराष्ट्र में ये हमारा जो मैं जहाँ से हूँ वो मराठवाड़े का एक बहुत छोटा शहर है बीड़ बोल के, वहां तो कोई ISKCON पता भी नहीं था जब 93-94 में। लेकिन जैसे प्रभुपाद ने इतने बड़े परम पूज्य गुरु राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज, परम पूज्य गुरु लोकनाथ स्वामी महाराज, परम पूज्य गुरु जय पताका स्वामी महाराज, ऐसे बड़े बड़े बहुत बहुत हीरे भेजे, तो वैसे ही ये हमारे परम पूज्य गुरु राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज ने ऐसे कुछ हीरे बीड़ तक की तरफ भी भेजे कि उसमें वे देवानंद पंडित प्रभु थे, अभी भी आते हुए। फिर बहुत सारे मतलब हमारे दयाल चंद्र प्रभु, इतने लोग। फिर उस टाइम तो वहाँ कुछ नहीं था, ना सेंटर था ना मंदिर था। ये लोग आते, पहले तो हम 2-3 लोग ही थे, बाद में वहाँ कुछ कॉन्ग्रेगेशन बढ़ गया और फिर लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा भक्त होने लगे। कहने का मतलब ये है कि जैसे प्रभुपाद की आशीर्वाद से ये लोग हमारे आज के लोग हैं, तो उनकी आशीर्वाद से भी बहुत आज सब तरफ ये अपना इनकी कष्ट की वजह से, इनकी श्रम की वजह से जो बढ़ रहा है। और ये बढ़ने का दूसरा, हम जो भक्ति में टिकते रहते हैं, या तो महाराज का एक ही ज्यादा से ज्यादा कहना है कि जब हम प्रवचन या महाराज की सूचना का सुनते हैं प्रवचन में ज्यादा से ज्यादा, तो कहते हैं कि ये जाप ये तो है सब, जो षड गोस्वामी जो भी बताया है कि मूर्ति पूजा, यात्रा, सत्संग, ये, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा अगर हमें इसमें रहना है तो वैष्णव सेवा करना चाहिए। तो इसीलिए हम जब भी वो देखते हैं तो एक वैष्णव सेवा, और इसीलिए हम वहाँ टिकते हैं। इसीलिए वो पूना में, अभी बाद में जो पूना में कार्यक्रम होते थे, महाराज हमारे लिए 4-5 दिन का वहाँ पूना में कार्यक्रम रखते थे। 2000 मैं पहली बार 2000 में शामिल हो गया था, तो 2007 तक चला वो, 7-8 के बाद शायद अभी बंद हो गया है। लेकिन उसमें इतने भक्त रहते थे कि कम से कम 3-4 हजार जब उस टाइम भक्त रहते थे, और दिन रात प्रवचन, बस संकीर्तन, रात को 10-10 बजे तक। और महाराज भी यात्रा में भी गए तो कम से कम 3-4 घंटा 5 घंटा तो उनका प्रवचन रहता था। तो उनमें जो इतना जो कष्ट, बीमार होते हुए भी वो कभी कभी तो भक्त के लिए पूरा कष्ट करते थे। तो ये जो है, ये बहुत उनकी बातें अच्छी लगती है, और वो खुद कष्ट लेते। उन्होंने हमारे लिए जो भी मैं उनके प्रवचन या सुनता हूँ या संदेश सुनता हूँ, उन्होंने 3 बातें हमारे लिए बताई, अपने लिए, हमारे सबके लिए और खुद के लिए भी, कि वो बोले कि 3 बातें कभी भी करना चाहिए। एक बात, पहली बात तो मेरे जो गुरु बंधु है उनका सम्मान करो, क्योंकि उनका सम्मान करोगे तो मुझे आनंद मिलता है। तो होता ऐसा है कि मेरे जो गुरु बंधु के खुश करने के लिए, मुझे खुश करने के लिए अगर उनको ना खुश रहे तो मैं खुश नहीं रहूंगा। ये पहली बात उन्होंने बताई है। इसीलिए जहां जहां, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि जो गुरु तत्व है तो एक ही है, लेकिन ये गुरु तत्व के अलग अलग विस्तार है। इसीलिए मेरे गुरु बंधु के प्रति जितना मेरा आदर करते हो उतना है उनके लिए भी करो, क्योंकि जहां जहां तुम रहोगे तो वहां उनके, जहां भी जो इस गुरु के अंडर तुम रहते हो उनका उतना ही आनंद आदर करो, उनका आज्ञा का पालन करो, तो मैं खुश रहूंगा। तो इसलिए एक बात उन्होंने ये पहली बताई। दूसरी बात उन्होंने ये बताई कि जहां तुम मंदिर में रहते हो, जिस तरह रहते हो, तो उस वैष्णव अपने जो भक्त है उनके साथ कोऑपरेट करो, सहकारी की भूमिका रखो। और इस तरह उन्होंने 2-3 चीजें बहुत बड़ी बताई है। और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, तो उन्होंने कहा कभी भी अगर भक्ति में टिके रहना है तो वैष्णव के क्रिटिसाइज, यानी उसमें टीका मत करो, उनके दोष मत देखो उनमें। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे उन्होंने बातें बताई जो हमें अच्छी लगती है और उसमें हम भक्ति में टिक सकते हैं। तो ये बहुत सारे मतलब महाराज के हम बता सकते हैं, लेकिन बहुत बोलने वाली भी है। इसीलिए मैं आज के दिन भगवान के चरण में प्रार्थना करता हूँ, क्योंकि महाराज के जो शब्द है वो बहुत सही होते हैं। एक बार मुझे याद है कि मुंबई में व्यास पूजा हो रही थी, और उनके अभी बताया भगवान प्रभु के उनके पिताजी उसमें थे। वो सही है, पिताजी थे। और उस दिन महाराज बोलते बोलते बोले कि पिताजी जो है मेरे, तो उस टाइम उनकी शायद 75 की एनिवर्सरी थी जन्म, और लेकिन उस टाइम महाराज ने प्रवचन में कहा था कि मेरे पिताजी की 100वीं जो है तो वो भी एनिवर्सरी हो जाएंगी। तो अभी कुछ तो हुई है, मतलब साधु के जो शब्द होते हैं वो सच होते हैं। तो हम आज सब जो वैष्णव है तो महाराज के लिए भी प्रार्थना करेंगे कि महाराज की, मैं भगवान के चरण में प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि महाराज की 100वीं व्यास पूजा का करने का मौका भी हमें मिले, और उतना हमें उनको आरोग्य और आयुष्य जितना बहुत सारा मिले, और आरोग्य जो रहे तो पूर्ण उनका जो आयु है तो आरोग्य पूर्ण रहे, ऐसी मैं भगवान के सामने प्रार्थना करता हूँ। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू। और जो संयोजक ने मुझे यहाँ बोलने की समय दी संधि, तो उनके लिए भी मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji is from Maharashtra, Beed district. He is a professor in university. So now,
Thank you very much, Devki Putra Prabhu. Now first I have to welcome Sweet Kirti Prabhu. He is a very senior Prabhupada disciple. We are fortunate he is present here. So I am requesting Sweet Kirti Prabhu, please speak something here.
also we have received this thing, offerings from Mahadevi Mataji. So Prabhuji will read after Shruti Kirti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Of course, anyone who's a Westerner, I think many people know what December 7th is, a very famous day in the United States. And it was probably 7-8 years ago. I was in Hawaii at that time, and Maharaj came. He just happened to come for Gaur Purnima there in Hawaii, where the Panchatattva deities are. And he stayed there for a few days. He had come to Hawaii. He went to one of the other islands in Maui because someone he knew was dying. And he spent a few days there with him, assisting him. Anyway, we had a nice time together. I got to talk to his father on the phone. He called up his father and he said, you know, he said, when I'm with Shima Sundar, he said, my father talks longer to him than he does to me. So then I talked to his father. And when I was finished, he said, he talks to you longer than he talks to me. He said, he doesn't even know you. Anyway, him and I have been friends for some time. I called him this morning, our time. I called him, it was about 6 a.m. And he answered the phone, which in itself I think says a lot about him. He's someone I can call and he'll answer the phone. Of course, my wife and I, we wished him a happy birthday. And he's in Detroit. He said he was in Detroit, and of course he was very surprised and very happy to have someone call from Vrindavan. They can't hear me in the back? Oh, because it's this different system? Okay. Is this better? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You want me to repeat? As I said, I called him this morning around 6 a.m. Of course, where he is in the United States, it was still the night before, around where he was, I believe it was around 8 p.m. So it was actually a good time that I could reach him. And he's such a joyful person. He made me feel very happy that I called him to wish him a happy birthday. He said it's the best possible thing. You know how he speaks. He said all the superlatives. But you can't help but think that he's genuine when he does that. You know, to me it can seem a little, we say, over the top. But it never stops. So at some point you have to think that's how he feels. So it's very nice. I met him actually, first time I really met him was 2001. Long time ago, but certainly not in the 70s. You know, he was always up there on the farm, the main farm. And I didn't stay in New Vrindavan very long, somehow or other by Prabhupada's mercy. But I got to meet him in this Prabhupada Samadhi in 2001. And I was just sitting there after Mangalarti chanting japa. And he said, we're starting our program today. And at that time, I think there were 2,000 devotees, maybe about 10 buses. And he said, the first day is we're going to Raval, Radharani's birthplace. He said, why don't you come? You can speak. I said, yes. So we went there. And Yadabar was there in the back seat with me. And Yadabar was asking me, how did I become Prabhupada's servant? So I told him the process. I told him how when Prabhupada came, I was the head cook in the kitchen, which meant you cooked, head cook. There wasn't anyone under you, so that's all I did was cook. And I said Prabhupada was there, and I didn't get to see him, I didn't get to hear him in classes, just cooking khichdi. Anyway, I told this story to Yadabar. So then we get to the festival site. So Maharaja was in the front seat, and Yadabar and I were in the back seat. And of course, he was quiet the whole time. And then when we got there, he introduced me. And he introduced me by telling the story that I told, how I became Prabhupada's servant, and I was in the kitchen cooking khichdi, and my sweat was dripping into the khichdi, and he just made the story sound so amazing. So this morning we talked. He said something very, very powerful, because we talked about the deities here, Krishna Balaram, Radhashama Sundar Gaur-Nitai. And as I think you all know, I know, this is Prabhupada's home. You know, there's temples all over the world, but there's no temple like this temple. This is Prabhupada's home. And he said, and he says it better than I could say it, Prabhupada crafted, he molded those deities. Everything about this place is Prabhupada. And this is the place where we are. So he was saying that how you worship the deities in Vrindavan affects the entire movement. So I appreciate him because I appreciate how he sees things, how he deals with everyone. How when I called him and after 5 minutes I'm thinking, I need to get off. He's given me 5 minutes. But he started talking. Then he started talking what's been going on in Calcutta. The devotees there under his guidance, Prabhupada's home. Prabhupada told Gargamuni way back in the 60s, you do something grand here where I was born. We still have yet to do it. But he's doing things, he's overseeing things. Where Prabhupada met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his Guru Maharaj. They're making it, doing so much. He said, I haven't been there for 3 years. He hasn't been in India. He said, we'll go. He said, I'll meet you there. So then he took over the conversation. Anyway, I'm not going to give a long conversation, but I appreciate him very much. I told you he was there for that man 7 years ago in Hawaii. So that was about 2015. When my wife died in England, 2010, Amekala, she had cancer. He was in India. The skies were closed. because of a volcano in Iceland. There were no planes anywhere flying in England. It was the weirdest thing, because you don't realize you're always hearing noise. The skies were quiet. He had someone, his disciple was flying to Africa. So I was talking with him. He said, look, I can come. He said, from Mumbai we'll fly to South Africa, and then from South Africa we'll fly to London. And he did it. He arrived there some hours before she died, just to be there. He offered his respects to her. After her death, he took the dust from her feet on his head. This is a devotee. I got to see devotee long time ago. Prabhupada, to take care of his family. So I see that in Maharaj. And of course I appreciate it. I know whatever my condition, he would be there. And this is a friend. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji is very close association with the Prabhupada, and he did a lot of services. But I am very much impressed his one important services during the last time of Prabhupada. He has done the massage, especially Charan Seva. So let us welcome again Sweet Kirti Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now I am calling, मैं अभी बुला रहा हूँ चंद्रमुखी देवी दासी माता जी, please come.
बैठे हो क्या फिर? ठीक है. हरे कृष्णा. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन इति नामिने. नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद